What's going on, y'all? It's J Small Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bring you guys a little update joint. Shouldn't be too long here, but a couple things that have been mentioned that I want to talk about, and one of them pertaining to an event, not just this weekend, but today. Bullpen politics as usual. Y'all go cop the pay-per-view on Rap Grid, man. Should be a good event. I'll be fully locked into it today. And there's been added stakes to those battles, which will be our first topic. And we're also going to talk a little bit about NOME 14, did a little wish list video, and gladly the main event that I saw happening for it is the main event happening for it, because they have put Lux versus Nitty announced officially as the main event for NOME 14. Talked about it a lot already. We're going to talk about it a lot going forward because it's a big event, but I want to give my little bit of a thoughts here, towards the end, but mainly want to talk about, like I said, politics as usual. Stakes have been raised during the face-offs as, a little bit of shit talking. There was funny, there was jokes, but then there was money put on the floor for every battle. Gwitty versus Super Black has $10K on the floor. Torque versus Clone, winner gets $5K extra on the floor. Tay-Rock versus Loso, $25K on the floor. Bad News versus Arsenal, about $35,000, $40,000 on the floor. Then the main event of Calico versus John the Don. How am I going to forget the league order's name? $50,000 on the floor. So I know what you're doing. You're looking at me. You're looking at it. I don't even see you, but I feel your eyes. You're looking. You're saying, J Smo. They're lying. They're thieving. They just did this John and Easy, the $25K. I'm going to explain why. First of all, them lying there, it just sets a bad precedent when they did that silliness with the $25K that no one ever got. And what happened is, it helped for the buzz then, but now you get this precedent where even clearly when you're kind of telling the truth, which I'll explain evidence-wise, or you're in a much more truthful situation, that's going to get held over your head because that was the silly shit that you pulled. So in terms of the pushback, the money's fake and people getting upset, it is a little extra because you know how the battle rap, as we can be a community, we can really yell at people, we can get a little bit harsh, but you don't have a good history or track record, so of course people are going to question it. Why is this different? First of all, this is a political sponsored event. It was the mayor of ATL was at the face-offs. I've seen him, he was with the battlers on the Hip Hop Is Real 2 talking some shit. It was 15 Minutes of Fame, one of the two. And I believe he's the one who put the money up. I could be wrong, but I believe it's the mayor of Atlanta. So a little bit more of a reliable type of source there. We're talking sponsorship and money. Clearly this whole, before the face-offs, they had a little political panel talking to the community beforehand too. So it's obviously a whole operation going on here, as well as the fact that John said when this event was announced, they would fly out 100, it was either fans or media and guests, give them flight and stay. And if you look on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, at least that's where I've seen it, but I've seen people that got their flight and stay. Shout out 3 Letterman, I saw that he's been flown out, a couple other people on the timeline. So if they've done 100 flights and stays, right, I think that they earned a little bit more reliability, right? So there's a little bit more when a sponsor's being more active here, and you're seeing things actually, like things that have been promised actually being fulfilled, as opposed to a random battle rapper just saying, yeah, we got $25K on the floor. So big thing here, sponsoring other people's money. It's always the best way to spend money in business. So it's a great situation that Bullpen's put on. And if you really look at how everything's went, I think it's a great situation for everyone involved. And Bullpen has put on some great events, and this is really on card paper-wise one of their better ones. So I'm also, with that, like I said, with the sponsor and evidence we've seen so far, I'm kind of pushed to believe that there is going to be money on the floor here. And I don't know what's going to happen in terms of execution. I believe that there is money on the floor, but I saw John say, how are we going to pick the judges and et cetera, et cetera. So in terms of the execution of how it's going to be judged and how the money's going to get, we're going to have to wait and see for that one, right? So I want to say, it's looking like it's very real that we could have this money on the floor, but how it's going to be executed and how we're going to determine who the winners are and the money goes to, that's what I want to see today as the event goes on, if they have that in order and they have that figured out. But just the money on the floor in general, these are pretty astronomical fucking numbers. You know what I'm saying? $50,000 between Calico and John. You'd have to think, motivation-wise, it's a couple of these guys who are already motivated, it's going to bring that a little bit more than you need aggression-wise, energy-wise. Probably a couple dudes that went and just practiced the hell out of their rounds last night if they didn't already have it locked down. Only battle results-wise, like prediction-wise, that the money on the floor would change for me, because I still have Rock beating Loso, regardless of money on the floor or not. I still have Cal winning over John, regardless of money on the floor or not. Super Black and Gwitty, Torque and Clone, right? Like, that doesn't change my opinion on those. I will say, Bad News and Arsenal. I did have Bad News clear, and Arsenal's been giving donations. He's been showing up and not giving a fuck. But 40,000 on the floor. You would figure a legend is going to prepare himself a little bit more given the situation. So a little 50-50 on it. I'm not going to bet. I'm not going to go and predict Arsenal because of the way he's been rapping recently. But I'm not going to lie, man. Arsenal goes, he wilds out today and has one of his best performances in a minute. It won't be too much of a coincidence. I don't think Bad News is so good content-wise that I can't fathom Arsenal beating him in any way. Arsenal hasn't been trying lately, so I'm not going to predict Arsenal. But in terms of this money on the floor, that is the only thing it would change prediction-wise for me. Otherwise, I would just hope it will make the battle quality better, and I'm hoping that this extra money on the floor leads to some of the most effort-filled, energetic, and best performances from all these rappers on the card throughout the year. And that's what's going on there with Bullpen. So, very exciting. It's like over like 150, 200K on the floor just with that. And we'll see. Maybe something extra will go on during the event. If that happened during the face-offs, what could possibly happen during the event itself? And then I want to talk quickly about Lux versus Nitty being announced for NOME 14 officially. It's gotten like 4 different announcements, so I'm not going to run it into the ground. But it is cool to see that it's going to be the NOME headliner, which I'm not going to do all the stats and statistics yet. But as I said, I think last time I talked about the battle, it is going to end up being, I think, Nitty and Lux now both tie for the most known main events of all time. One of them does, if not the other. It's something like that. But Nitty is main evented against Surf, Geechee the second time. Him and Rock was not a main event. It was a co-main event. And now last year versus Rock and Geechee with Twerk on his team. And now this will be his 4th one. And then as for Lux, I believe it's Surf, Verb, and now here you go with Nitty, right? So both of them have a high ranking in that accolade category, but there's really one big question that revolves around this. We still don't know the room size. I see people already upset. It's on NOME. It's got to be on a big stage. Why is that? Why is that? I know that NOME has been on a big stage before, but if they didn't announce the venue, if it was guaranteed for a big stage, they would just announce the big stage of it. So there's been a lot of talk, even when Nitty had kind of given some hints in some interview he did with Mike Master, shout out to them, post his Quest McCody battle, and he said before they announced this, he said June is what they were looking at, like date-wise, which is accurate to where we're at now. And he said that room was still not decided on. So we'll see. Maybe that's changed a little bit behind the scenes or not. But I don't think it's as simple as just because there's no venue address that it just automatically means we're going to a big room now. So we'll see. And depending on, I'll do a prediction video eventually when the full card drops. And that's when, hopefully, for the love of fucking God, we'll have the venue size by then. And then you can get into the real technicalities of how style-wise they match up against each other. For this particular match, I might have a little bit different of a prediction video. Might focus in on the one matchup in a different way, do something creative. But until we get then, I'm not going to talk too much on the super competitive aspect of it. But there is a date for it now. It is the big battle that URL's had in the tuck and kind of been waiting to use. It's been signed off for a minute. And I just can't wait to see what it is. And it does make it, when you have a battle that big, it's already a guarantee. Even if people saw it coming that it's going to be the main event, it makes it easier because you still have to have a good card underneath. But that's a lot of star power there at the top. It's 2 battlers a lot of people are going to be happy to see. And, hopefully going back to my NOME wish list video, we see some of those battles pop out. But either way, this just goes to show, as I've been saying, May and June for battle rap, man, because we got this Bullpen and Riot weekend, right? Next weekend is Trenches and Chrome 23, and then I think like 2 or 3 weeks after that you get to NOME. So you're getting the big events back to back to back. I can't say too much on the NOME before I see the rest of the card, but I think NOME is a perfect place for Lux and Nitty. Hopefully it's a smaller scale room. Maybe that's why the ambiguity is there. But if it is a big room, we'll just have to work with that for this particular battle. I know it would take away from it a little bit while it would still be good, but it could help some other matchups if that's the route we take. But clearly, the last big question for NOME, as I said here, is room size. And that's going to determine really how I feel like everyone feels about the card going forward. But that's it here, man. Just wanted to give a little my thoughts on Bullpen, what's going on with the money and all that. Like I said, they haven't earned the benefit of the doubt because of their last actions, particularly John John's partaking with the easy situation. Although when you really look at it all out, I get where John John's coming from. It's easy, like it's really a trenches heavy event, right? Like in terms of the way it's in Philly, and he's the one that brought up the 25K first. So I understand, like I'm not fully blaming John John, but your brain was part of the situation. And you've seen the explanations. They kind of all knew it was bullshit. This is real, but it's, you're just going to have to see, people are just going to have to go and see it's real for themselves because of past things. But I love what Bullpen's doing. I think this adds a stake to the event 100%. I really hope whatever they do today, judges wise, they have it in order, because I think if you really do give the money out after this, not just the respect, but the impact it'll have post event. You know what I'm saying? I just think it could do nothing but benefit. I love the competitive feel, and I just hope they're able to pull it off today. And NOME news and any NOME coverage I'll have will be on the way as we get more news to speak on, right? But it's been J Smo Reviews again, y'all. As I said, go to Rap Grid, man. Go cop the Bullpen pay-per-view today. My Twitter's always in the description. I never mentioned it. Go follow me. I'll be doing updates all day throughout the battles if you're not able to watch it live. So let's have some battle rap to enjoy, man. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.